You can call me Mystic Mike because I predict these things.
Cub Swanson takes on Billy Quarantillo this weekend as the co-main event for UFC Fight Night Tampa. This is a really fun fight. I understand why they made this the co-main event. These guys are a couple of crafty veterans down to scrap. Usually put on barn burner performances. Cub Swanson has a fight in the Hall of Fame with Doo-Ho Choi from several years back, so you know that these guys are going to bring it each time they're out. Both of them a little on the older side. Billy Quarantillo just turned 36. Cub Swanson's 41. He's been in the game for decades now. I remember watching him back in the WEC in like the mid-2000s, 2006, 2007 era. Now he's in the UFC. He's had a lot of success. Seems to be kind of a 50-50 fighter as of late, coming off of a split decision against Andre Fili. Beat Hakeem Dawadu. Lost to Jonathan Martinez by leg kicks, which was bad. Beat Darren Elkins. Lost to Giga Chikadze. Beat Daniel Pineda. Beat Kron Gracie. Whoop-de-doo. Lost 4 fights in a row after that. So Billy Quarantillo coming off of a pretty bad defeat against Youssef Zalal, where he was kind of dominated, but Youssef Zalal is the future of that division, in my opinion. That guy is very good, so no shame in that loss. Beat Damon Jackson, who you know can push a pace, is always down to fight. Lost to Edson Barboza by knee. Not really much we can gain from that. Beat Alexander Hernandez. Lost to Shane Burgos. Beat Gabriel Benitez. So both these guys kind of 50-50 fighters. I'm going to have to go with Billy Quarantillo in this one, as much as I love Cub Swanson and wish the best for him. I just think he's over the hill in this one, and it's getting harder and harder for me to pick fighters that are, 38, 39 and above. We've seen the Michael Chandlers, the Stipe Miocic, how they've been performing as of late, especially these guys like Cub Swanson that have been fighting since they were 18, 20 years old. So a lot of miles on the engine, taking a lot of damage in their fights. I just think Billy Quarantillo, I think he's going to be able to mix it up a little bit better than Cub Swanson. I think he's going to be able to push a higher pace. We saw in Cub Swanson's last fight against Andre Fili, he got pushed up against the cage a lot and controlled. Seems like Cub Swanson doesn't have a lot of success against these fighters that are these strikers that are in and out, throwing punches, things like that. And I don't think that's going to be Billy Quarantillo necessarily, but I do think Billy Quarantillo is going to be in his face, throwing a lot of volume. And I just don't think Cub Swanson's going to respond very well to that. Seems to be a little bit hesitant to engage in his last few fights. I know that Billy Quarantillo, he's a black belt in jiu-jitsu to match Cub Swanson's. I do think that he'll be more effective in mixing in his grappling and his cage work. Cub Swanson's taken a lot of beating to his legs in the last few fights. Obviously, he was TKO'd by Jonathan Martinez, who's an absolute savage with his leg kicks, as we saw in his fight with, I think it was Marcus McGee not too long ago. But Quarantillo will throw a lot of leg kicks. He mixes up his strikes very well. But what I think he does the best is just the motor on him. No quitting the guy. He's constantly pressuring. Kind of a slow starter, so I wouldn't be surprised to see him not see a lot of the success at the beginning, or maybe lose the first round. But I do think as this fight goes on, Cub Swanson will start to fade. I don't think he's able to push the same pace as he used to, just with his age and everything. Again, being 41, how much more time in the game does he have? How hard is he pushing it in the camps? Same can be said for Billy Quarantillo, but again, he's 5 years younger. You see a lot of fighters at 36, barely 36, having a lot of success in the UFC. Billy Quarantillo is 2 inches. Is he 2 inches taller? He's going to be 2 inches taller. He's 5'10". Cub Swanson's 5'8". I do think he'll be the bigger fighter in this one. You don't see Cub Swanson hurting a lot of guys lately. He used to be known for his punching ability. But as of late, we just really haven't seen that. He struggled with strikers and Giga Chikadze, Jonathan Martinez, Andre Fili, Shane Burgos. Struggling with these guys. He's shown a propensity to get choked as well. Got choked out by Renato Moicano, Frankie Edgar. So I think Billy Quarantillo will be able to do enough in this one. I don't think he's going to finish Cub Swanson by any means. I think this one will go to a decision. I think it'll be a very close decision, but I just think Billy Quarantillo is going to be more active, he's going to be putting more out there for the judges to judge. But I think at this point in each of their careers, I think Billy Quarantillo's got more in the tank. I think he's got more of that dog in him, as much as that hurts me to say about Cub Swanson. I just feel like when you have guys at this age, you gotta bias towards the younger guy. Billy Quarantillo, he's been around for a while. He's been in the UFC since 2019. He's got 24 fights. Cub Swanson has 43 fights, been in the UFC fighting top tier talent since 2011. So he's been in the UFC for 8 years longer, and that's not even counting the wars that he went through in the WEC. So I see Billy Quarantillo getting this one done by decision, just landing the better punches, throwing more strikes, mixing up the takedowns, getting Cub against the cage where he's the bigger fighter. He can just beat him up on the cage, maybe take him down occasionally. I just think Quarantillo is going to be too much for him. Going to kind of overwhelm him with his pressure and the pace that he puts out there. So, going to go with Billy Quarantillo by decision. Thanks, guys.